We've seen it now. This is a formula that Michigan did a couple years ago. Ohio State did it last year. And now Penn State is on the verge of trying to do it this year. But just because you're following that formula doesn't make you the best team in the country.
Any louder than when he takes the field. And Arch Manning fires.
As Athletes on Podcast, I'm your host, Jamal Clay. Listen, yesterday, the AP poll dropped of the top 25, the official top 25 of teams heading into college football. We are officially roughly about 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away from week 0 in Dublin, Ireland. We're here to talk about it. We're here to discuss it, and let's break it down a little bit. So, again, as I mentioned, the top 25 poll was released. Let's react to it a little bit. All right. Some of the shocking things, just to point out, like off the rip, when we're looking at the top 25, everyone or mostly everyone in the top 25 has Penn State, but that's not the case. AP poll says Texas is the number one team heading into the season. Arch Manning, Texas. Add on to the Manning hype train, right, heading into this year. And obviously they'll have a big one against week 1 against number 3, Ohio State. Listen, the Penn State they're following what seems to be the Big Ten formula, right? Michigan did it a couple years, won the national championship. All the seniors came back. It was a different brand of football, more experienced brand of football. Ohio State did it last year. They spent all that money in the transfer portal. It's all documented. But a lot of their returning players came back to play and won the national championship, and that's what they did. Penn State's James Franklin's best recruiting class going into their junior year, right? Now returning. Now coming back, right, or junior or senior, I'm sorry. Now returning, now coming back to do what Michigan and Ohio State did, and that's win, a national title, right? Finally get over that help. Finally get that monkey off James Franklin's back, who really struggles, obviously, to win the big games in this document. You think about Ohio State, you think about Michigan, you think about Oregon in the Big Ten championship last game. I'm not gonna lie, big game versus in a playoff game they were able to win, but you weren't able to beat Notre Dame, and we saw, how that panned out. Again, Drew Allar couldn't complete a pass to a receiver in that game. So it's interesting to see how all this, is starting to come together for the Nittany Lions. But I think this is a strong preseason top 25. You think about, we already talked about Ohio State, Clemson, right? Clemson, Cade Klubnik, Dabo finally tapped into the transfer portal. Got a couple guys. He has an experienced quarterback, one of the most experienced guys since the Trevor Lawrence, the Deshaun Watsons, the Taj Boyd, days, right? How's Clemson gonna look? All right. Notre Dame comes in at 6, right? Alabama. A lot of people like Alabama this year, right? A lot of people think this is going to be Kalen DeBoer's, best Alabama team. They just announced Ty Simpson's going to be the quarterback heading into the season. So we'll see how all that pans out. You get Ryan Grubb, who's your offensive coordinator at Washington, went to Seattle, and now back with Kalen DeBoer running his system. So we'll see how everything pans out. You can't have no more Vanderbilt opportunities for Alabama, right? It's the pot stirring, especially when you have a coach that's replacing a legend like Nick Saban, okay? So we'll scroll down, top 10. Miami, if I'm being honest, maybe I'm being a hater as a Florida Gators fan. I don't think they're top 10 caliber, but we're going to see how this pans out. We'll see week 1 when they play Notre Dame, right? Now, the next column, 11 through 20, you think about teams like Arizona State, Illinois, South Carolina, Michigan. Like, these are all sneaky good teams, but are these teams going to be able to live up to expectations? Arizona State, most experienced team coming out of the Big 12 and heading into the season. Obviously, you have a great quarterback there. Illinois, another experienced team, a couple big wins last year, a big win versus Nebraska, right? You got Brett Bielema's system in full effect there in Illinois. Can they handle the hype? All right, can they make that adjustment going into the season? South Carolina, you got a quarterback like Lenore Sellers, one of the top quarterbacks coming into the season, right? Kind of an unexpected season last year, but you guys balled out. Michigan, nobody finished stronger in college football last year than Michigan. My Florida Gators coming in at 15, right? We had a good finish. We have our quarterback. We have a lot of young guys returning. SMU's, I'm curious about SMU. I don't know what to think. I know they got that quarterback, who's there, who is experienced, played last year in the Penn State game. Kevin Jenkins, I believe his name.
I'm curious what SMU is going to look like, right? Kansas State, we're going to see them in a couple weeks, week 0 in Dublin, Ireland. Oklahoma, you bring in Josh Mayer from Washington State, I believe, right? How's Oklahoma going to look? Texas A&M, I think this might be a little low. I think you could probably bump Texas A&M maybe in that top 15 range, right? Indiana, right? You got to Google Cignetti. You know, all he does is win. Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin and the boys, you lose Jackson Dart. But Austin Simmons is going to be a stud from what I'm hearing and reading about. And then, again, Iowa State, Texas Tech, they spend a boatload of money in the portal. Tennessee, I don't even think Tennessee should be ranked, if I'm being honest. That's a little bit hype from last year. I think BYU, Utah might be better than Tennessee and Boise State, but we're going to see how all this pans out. All right. But the AP poll officially dropped their top 25 preseason college football heading into the season. So Locker Room, you know how this works. Drop a comment. Let's talk about it. Let me see what you guys think.